London Real, sponsored by Bulletproof Coffee.
Okay, now flip it over to the people that are listening, and they're employees that half of the people listening are not happy at work, obviously,
Yeah.
if they're in Britain. And, they say, oh, yeah, it's my manager's fault, and I'm going to go to a better job, or someone's going to do it better, blah, 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 blah. But in your book, you address the fact that you can take some of it into your own hands, right?
Oh, yeah.
What can I do to go in and, how do you change the workplace?
Well, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Okay, let's say if you're in a really bad workplace, a toxic culture, your boss is a complete jerk, your coworkers are annoying jerks as well. Maybe you can't change that. Okay, and maybe the only real thing you can do is to get out of there, quit, find something else. And I realize this is not an easy decision, but if you really, really hate your job, it may be the only option.
Is there any way to know when you're at that breaking point?
You know.
Yeah,
I get that question all the time.
On your blog, you had like top 10 signs you're unhappy.
Yeah. And you can list those. And if you procrastinate a lot,
okay.
If you spend most of Sunday evening worrying about Monday morning and that kind of thing. But deep down, people know.
Okay.
But people are scared of pulling the trigger and making the jump. And I totally understand that because if you quit your job, you have a very clear picture of all the things you will lose. You'll lose your salary, you lose your coworkers, you lose your title,
Your sense of identity a lot of times.
Your identity is very much tied up in your job.
Maybe you do need to lose that though.
Yeah, maybe you do. If you're in the US, you may lose your health care if you quit your job,
Yeah,
which can have massive impact on you.
True.
But the question no one ever asks themselves is this: what can I lose if I stay?
Opportunity cost.
Exactly. If I keep going in every single day to this job that I absolutely hate, if I keep coming home from my work days stressed, nervous, tired, frustrated, what can that cost me? And we know from the research that the cost can be incredibly high. It can cost you your self-esteem, you can lose your career, can cost you your relationship. And ultimately, it can make you sick and it can kill you. We know for a fact that people who hate their jobs have a much higher risk of getting sick. And we're talking serious diseases like heart disease, some forms of cancer, stress and depression, and type 2 diabetes. Okay. So if you really, really hate your job, you gotta do something. The only thing you can't do is nothing. You have to act. And if the workplace is so bad that you will never be happy there, you have to get out of there.
And how do you find your next job? How do you choose the company that's not going to be a repeat of the same thing?
Well, that's the thing you got to do. And I think a lot of people come out of a bad job with a very clear picture of what they want to avoid. Okay, I want a workplace that doesn't have a jerk manager. I want a workplace that doesn't have this culture. But that's not enough. You can't just pick your next job based on what you want to avoid. You need to have a pretty clear picture of what you want. Okay, this is what you want to avoid, but what do you want in a good workplace? What would make you happy? What would make you really excited Monday morning, when you're thinking about your work week? And you got to have a pretty clear picture of what kind of workplace you want, and then you go out and look for that. And basically, in my opinion, it's about looking for a workplace that can give you results in relationships. Again,
that's what you want to keep looking at.
And we keep coming back to that.
Right.
Where can you kick ass and do a really good job? And where can you work together with awesome people and feel valued as a human being?
So, and I think you've also said before, you said ultimately work is work, and you can't lose sight of that.
We go to work to work.
Okay.
We don't go to work to be happy.
Explain what you mean by that.
Well, it's a workplace, right? You're there to, you get a salary, the company pays you, and you should earn your salary. You should be really, really good at your job. So we don't go to work to be happy. This is not about creating some social club where you can go from 9 to 5 and hang out and have fun, right? You're there to do a job, and preferably you're there to do an awesome job that you can be proud of, that's helping someone who needs it, right?